Today's video is about the 5-step writing process. We are going to take a look at how to write high-quality content. You are welcome to Write Channels. I am Benjamin. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. You will also find a little bell icon. Click on it and you will always receive notifications whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Let's dive into the lecture right away. Writing is an essential skill not only in passing your exams and obtaining your academic credentials, but also in achieving career success out there after school. It is a skill set that takes time and practice and patience, of course, to master. Whether you are writing a college essay, a newspaper article, or a blog post, understanding the composing stages or the basic steps of the writing process can help you produce a good piece of writing. Don't forget, we are living in an information-driven economy, and content creation has become a lucrative venture. And if you acquire the writing skills and you can become a content writer, of course, you can always make a lot of money online by creating content that will offer value to your target audience. Now, let's look at the 5-step. The step 1 is brainstorming and invention. Brainstorming simply means critical thinking. Before you start writing, you need to really take some time and think about what you want to write. This is the stage of invention, and it requires a lot of intense concentration. So it's important that you first create a conducive atmosphere for intense concentration, because for you to compose good content, you must compose your thoughts. I remember a popular proverb, which probably is an Asian proverb, that says that good thinking yields good products. And I believe that totally. So you need to concentrate and brainstorm, so you will be able to invent good ideas to write the kind of content that will grab the attention of your audience and hold their attention. All right? That is really very important. But it starts with composing your thoughts. Now, at the brainstorming and invention stage, your aim is to discover your topic. You want to really discover your topic, what you are going to write on. What exactly is it? What is the subject matter? What is it all about? It must be something you are knowledgeable about and something you are passionate about, but most importantly, something that has audience appeal. Now, if you look for a video lecture I have uploaded on this channel, which discusses the 8 laws of content creation, you will discover that the first law is audience appeal. For you to create content that will really grab the attention of people out there, it must be the kind of content that your audience are looking for. It has to be the kind of content that will solve their problems. It has to be the kind of content that will provide answers to their frequently asked questions. And that is the kind of content that will win the attention and the concentration of your target audience. So compose your thoughts, because your mind is like a camera lens. It captures what it is focused on. Now, if you want to capture something, and capture it really very well, you must focus the lens of your camera on that object of your desire. Now, if you want to produce a video clip or a good photograph, you must focus the lens of your camera on the particular object you want to capture. If, on the other hand, you are turning your camera to all directions, you may succeed in capturing so many things, so many objects, so many sceneries, but you have not succeeded in capturing one major object of your desire in particular. So it is very important that you focus your camera lens on the object you really want to capture. And like I said, your mind is like a camera lens. It captures what it is focused on. So if you really want to write something that is really fascinating, something that is thrilling, all right, something that will give value to your audience, then you must focus your mind on the kind of content you want to create. It requires intense creation. Writing good content requires intense creation, and that is really what you should do at this stage of brainstorming and invention. Writing is not a casual thing. It's something that is a serious thing, and it requires your attention. All right? Don't forget that necessity is the mother of invention. And what does this mean? When you really discover that something is necessary, if you focus your attention on something and you take it seriously and you really want to get it done, by all means, of course, you will invent it. All right? You will invent it. That is why it is said that necessity is the mother of invention. Something may appear impossible, something may appear elusive, but if you give it attention, if you attach seriousness to it, if you are consistent and persistent enough, of course you will come up with the best. I read the story of a man, an American philosophy of personal achievement, Napoleon Hill by name, very popular person, and he wrote Think and Grow Rich. And the story goes like this, he was trying to invent the title for his book, right? For that book that became a bestseller, and it took him a lot of time, but it eventually came. It came with persistence. It came with patience. He had to give it attention. He wanted a title that is $1 million title, and he took his time to really concentrate on it. He wrote so many different titles, and he kept writing until he really found the one that he wanted, which when he presented to his publisher, then there was celebration, because that person knew that yes, this $1 million title has been invented. Invention is something that requires concentration. Your mental faculties have to be concentrated on what you really want to invent. Take the miners, for example, or those who extract mineral resources from the bowels of the earth, for example. They use all kinds of equipment, all kinds of machinery. They use all kinds of things to survey the place, and they actually dig into the earth, and they are looking for a sign that the mineral resources, probably crude oil or gold or copper or iron ore, is actually located in that place, and they have to dig and dig and dig, you know, and that is what uh, uh, writing is like. You need to really dig deep to really create good content. You should not be satisfied with casual and shallow-minded ideas. You really need to dig deep. You need to launch into the deep, and there's nothing good that really comes easily. I have a mentor who has gone into glory, a great man, Ben Unebu by name. I learned from him that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. When I wrote my first novel, uh, The Widow and the Wolves, I really spent sleepless nights because I wanted to write a book that will really fascinate my readers, and I took time to really write it. I really sat down and I gave my concentration to creating that novel, and it paid off really, because that novel has gone places. That novel got reviews from professional reviewers on the print media, and different institutions of learning have actually placed it on their reading list, have recommended it to their students as a reading text, and even a university has recommended it to their students, and you can really see that the time spent on it is justifiable. So what I am saying here is that whatever is worth doing well. Nothing good really comes easily. I remember a man called Thomas Edison. It's a common saying. It has become a reference point among motivational speakers now, that he failed 1,000 times or thereabout. Yet he persisted because he wanted to invent the electric bulb, or one or any of his inventions. I have forgotten now the particular invention that took him, you know, 1,000 failures. Yet he concluded that the 1,000 times he failed were only 1,000 ways of finding out how not to do it, until he found out how best to do it. And that is how every good thing really requires concentration. At the stage of invention, is the stage that requires intense concentration. And you can use some techniques like clustering. Clustering is a situation, is a practice where you just jot down various related words and phrases that are related to the actual thematic preoccupation you are dealing with. All right, so you thematize about that particular idea, and in other words, you contextualize. You can go around like someone really going around the world, and every word, every phrase, every expression related to the subject you really want to write about, you can put them on the same place, on the same page or pages, and you can use circles or you can use squares, and then you place all these ideas, Some people also talk about what is called the mind map, right? So clustering is a group of related items, brought together for the purpose of analysis, for the purpose of generating ideas. Now, the next one is free writing. In free writing, you activate your mind like a computer, and once the ideas come flowing naturally from your memory bank, you pour them on paper. You put pen to paper and write down all the ideas that come naturally to your mind. That is free writing. At this stage, you don't bother yourself, don't worry about the correctness or otherwise of what you are writing down. This is not the time to edit. This is not the time to fine tune. It is just the time to write. Just write. Just write. All right? The ideas that come to your mind, pour them down on paper as fast as you can, because these ideas are flowing into your mind like water flowing from its natural source. And you need to really capture them with the container as much as you can, because it may stop flowing within a course of time. So free writing, enables you to maximize the recollection and the writing down of the ideas that flow into your mind at the point of brainstorming. And as these ideas come to you, you write them down. The next one, which is probably even more effective, is talk writing. Now, of course, with a lot of software now that, make it easier for writers now to really write without tears, to write without stress, or with less stress if you like. Talk writing can use different software such as, speech to writing software. You have speech to writing. You have different software today. You also have different recorders, voice recorders. But if you have speech to writing, that is even quite better, all right? And if you just talk into the recorder, just talk, because it has been proven time and time and time again that when you start talking, ideas start flowing, and sometimes, these things just happen naturally. That's the way we are created. We are created as creators, and when we open our mouth, new ideas come flowing. These ideas are wrapped up in our mind, in our memory bank. They are stored in our subconscious mind. And the human language is unique, because I remember a man called Noam Chomsky, an American grammatical theorist. He propagated the theory of language acquisition device. And they said that every user of a language has this innate ability to generate unlimited number of sentences. The ideas, that's the creative aspect of language. When you start talking, ideas, that you have never imagined will just come naturally to you. You will also marvel personally how these ideas come to you if you are really knowledgeable, all right, about the topic you are discussing. These ideas will come in a variety of ways and with different complexities that you couldn't even imagine. They just come flowing, and at the time of brainstorming and invention is the time you pour these ideas. If you are talk writing, this is the time to talk into your recorder and let your recorder record the ideas that come pouring, which couldn't have been captured by any other means. So these are ways that you can explore, that you can maximize, that will enable you to really generate your ideas for your writing. Because your aim at this point is not only to discover your topic, but to discover the thematic preoccupation, to discover the thesis, to discover the subject matter, to discover the dimensions and the perspectives, and everything that is discoverable, everything that will help you to write well. At this stage, you can discover them. Different questions, different responses, different ideas that are related to what you want to really put down. At this stage, you put them on paper or you put them on tape. And this is step one: brainstorming and invention. Now, let's get to step two. All right. Step two is gathering information. All right. Now, at step one, you have been able to come up with your topic, right? Or at least you have been able to come up with the subject matter. At least you know what you want to write about. The topic may not be perfect at this stage. There is still room for fine-tuning your topic, all right? Because, commitment to excellence is really what makes you a best-selling author. Commitment to excellence. You want to get the best, and I'm not saying you have to be a perfectionist, but you need to be committed to excellence, because really you need to understand that there are a lot of pieces of content out there, and people are looking for the best among all of them. So there is a lot of competition, stiff competition, even in the content creation industry. And you cannot afford to come with mediocre ideas. You cannot afford to come up with substandard ideas. You want the best. So now that you already know the topic, or at least have some idea about the topic or the subject matter you want to write about, now in step two is the time to gather information, because preparation is key. If you want to build a good house, you want to prepare first. You need to acquire the land for the building. You need to buy the relevant building materials. You also, of course, need you need a building plan as well that will specify, the different parts of the house. So all these aspects of your preparation need to be done. So in step two, you need to gather the necessary ideas on the topic. You need to gather the relevant information. Don't forget that a soup is as delicious as its recipe. So you need to get the right recipe for the kind of soup you want to make. This is an analogy for the piece of writing, the content you want to create. Now, there are different sources, At the brainstorming stage, you have retrieved a lot from your memory, but your memory is inexhaustible. You have a lot stored up in your subconscious mind, and all these make up your background knowledge and your past experiences. Now, there are also a lot of sources that will enable you to gather real facts and figures and statistics and information that is really real and valid and valuable from different sources, especially the internet. All right? The internet is like the Atlantic, From whichever angle you approach it, you get what you want, all right? And so from different sources, you have access to information in different parts of the globe just by touching just some tiny icons on your laptop, you gain access to the best libraries in the world. You gain access to the best channels in the world, and you get the kind of information you want. So at this stage, you gather information as much as you want, information relevant to the kind of content you want to create. If you are writing a book, if you are writing an article, if you are writing a blog post, whatever you are writing, you gather information. Now, this is very critical. Then, of course, you also have the 5 Ws and H. These are journalistic tools. Every journalist that knows their onions will always have these tools in their writing toolbox. 5 Ws and H. And what are they? What, where, when, why, who, and how. Now, whatever topic you really want to write about, then some of these WH words will enable you to ask some relevant critical questions, and then the answers will be looked for, because if you really want to investigate or research into something, you need to come with critical questions. When the right questions are asked, then the right answers will come, and then the right information will be provided. And this is a journalistic way of sourcing for information about any topic, about any news item. And as a writer, you may not be a journalist per se, but you can assume a journalistic position the moment you begin to write. And then you can use this 5 Ws and H as tools that will enable you to investigate and research into the topic you want to write on. You want to ask what this is all about. What is it? What looks like, a definition. What you want to write about, you can begin from the basics, and you can just ask the most fundamental question: what is X? All right? Now, if it is something that is an event or something that is, has a location, then you can ask where. You can ask when. If it is an event or an incident, when did it happen? All right? Or even if it is an idea and you want to give some background to it, you want to find out, when it started, all right? And so on. Why? Who originated this idea? Who invented this? Okay? Then how? How is a very wonderful question, because how, in fact, leads you to looking for loads of information. How it works. In today's information-driven world, when people type something on the Google search engine, they are looking for a how. Some people are looking for a skill they want to acquire. How to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that. And people are just typing, millions of people are typing on Google search engine or Bing, and they are asking how. All right, some are asking what, some are asking where, some are asking when, some are asking how, some are asking who. All kinds of questions are asked, and these questions demand answers. And as a writer, you write to provide answers to people's questions, because nobody will read what you have written if it is not relevant to the kind of questions they have in their mind. If it does not really have a point of convergence with the problems they are having, for which they are looking for solutions, so of course they will not spend their time reading your article or reading your book or watching your video if it's not going to solve a problem for them, if it is not going to add value, the kind of value they have been searching and yearning for. This is why you must gather the right information. Now, at the point of gathering information, you also need to conduct keyword research. You need to research, into keywords. What are the kinds of questions? What are the kinds of things that your target audience are looking for? Because you are not writing for yourself. If you write just anything that that fascinates you, it's not about you, because you cannot be the writer and the reader at the same time. You will probably read what you have written with a view to fine-tuning it, editing it, cross-checking it, rewriting it, and all that. But definitely you are writing for your target audience, and if you don't write what they are looking for, of course you will end up wasting time, wasting money, and wasting energy. So step number 2 is about gathering information, the relevant information for that matter. Gather information, and gather the information that is relevant. All right, then let's proceed. Step number 3, organizing and outlining. This is the stage at which you create an outline. Of course, when you want to build a house and you consult a draftsman or an architect, of course, the architect will do a lot of sketches and all that, after which he or she will, organize all the ideas, all the graphics, all the statistics, and create a building plan. All right. Now, an outline is a writing plan, as a drawing or a building plan is to building. All right. So at this stage, you sit down to organize the ideas you have, the information you have gathered. You have gathered a lot of information from different sources, and then you need to sit down and look at these ideas you have gathered, the information you have gathered. Then you filter them, you select the ones that are concrete, the ones that are relevant. Of course, you weed out the unnecessary or irrelevant ideas, and then you really bring out the real ideas you want to use, and you organize them into related groups. All right, that will enable you to form the structure of your writing. Writing starts with the logical arrangement of parts that make a good structure. A building or a house is a structure, and a structure is made up of parts. All right, a good house has its foundation, then it has its walls, it has doors, it has windows, of course it has the lintel, it has the beam, it has the rafters, it has the roof, and it has different parts. All right, and then at last it will also have the ceiling, and it will have electrical materials, plumbing materials, and all kinds of fittings. All right, all these are the various parts of the house. That's how it is with writing. And you need to arrange the ideas you have gathered, the pieces of information you have gathered. You need to arrange them logically, and then you organize them into a structure. Don't forget that a good piece of writing will have at least 3 major parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Of course, there are other parts. If you are writing an article, it begins with a title. The title, in some cases, some people classify it with the introduction, but I always separate it. So if you are writing an article, the structure will be made up of the following units, the following parts. Number 1, the title. Number 2, the introduction, which is paragraph 1. Number 2, the body, of the article, which is made up of paragraph 2, 3, 4, as the case may be. Then the fourth part will be the conclusion, which is the last paragraph. All right, this is the structure, the kind of structure. Every piece of writing has its features. Of course, the structure of an article is different from the structure of a letter in terms of the features, because a letter has an address or addresses depending on the type of letter you are writing. Then a book is quite different from an article, because in writing a book we will be talking of the book cover, we will be talking of the front matters, we will be talking of different parts, the preliminary information, such as the dedication, the acknowledgement. All these form parts of a book which you don't need for a simple article. All right, if you are writing a speech, the features are also different, but then we have certain parts that are really common to all of them. And this is the structure of three main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. You need to arrange the parts to make a good structure. You need to organize your ideas into relevant or related groups, and then organize them into a writing plan, which we call an outline. This is really very, very important. If what you are writing is important, then you have to attach the importance it deserves. Step number 4, writing your draft. It's now time to sit down and put pen to paper or begin to type on your keyboard to produce your first draft. Now, putting the parts together makes the whole house. That is what you want to do at this stage, writing your first draft. And you are not now writing, from an empty mind. You are loaded because you already have all the pieces of information you need for this writing. And all you need to do is to consult your pre-writing notes, consult your outline, and then you begin to put the parts where they belong. All right, those ideas you have already generated, those pieces of information you have already gathered, this is now the stage at which you are putting the parts together to make the whole house. Writing communicates a message through logical arrangement of ideas, and this is really very important. So when you are writing your first draft, you are writing from your outline, you are writing from your pre-writing notes, you are putting these parts together, and this is the stage at which you really begin to construct sentences that convey your intended messages. All right, your intended message. This is the time you really showcase your knowledge of sentence construction, because the grammatical unit at which we communicate our ideas is the sentence. A sentence is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate, or a subject and a verb, and expresses a complete thought or conveys complete meaning. When you write in sentences. All right, so at this stage of producing your first draft, you are not also paying too much attention to correctness, although at this stage, with your knowledge of writing, you are constructing grammatically correct sentences. Although you might make some mistakes at this stage, don't worry about it. You still have in the next stage to edit what you have written. So write well at this stage, and your aim is to produce your first draft. And as you write at this stage, just write, be at your best to really write what you want to project to the world, to your target audience. The best you can. Write, express your ideas with clarity. Write with clarity. Express your ideas, with clarity, with precision, all right? And when you write, always have the big picture of what you are writing. So you will be able to take your writing stage by stage. Now, at the first stage, you write your introduction. When you are writing your introduction, the preliminary stages, then you should write the right information that belong to the introductory stage. When you get to the body of your writing, of your book, or your article or your speech or your report, whatever it is, then at that stage you use the thesis you have created at the introduction, and then the mastery of the subject matter you have already crafted in the introductory paragraph will help you to develop, the related ideas in different paragraphs that will form the body of your write-up. And when you develop the body of your content or your book or your article, then you will be able to transit to the conclusion. Now, one thing is critical here. I uploaded a video about how to write an effective paragraph. All right, how to write an effective paragraph. It's very important you look for that lecture, that video lecture, and watch it. You will learn a lot about how to write an effective paragraph. And by the way, the body of your essay, your article, your speech, or even your books, will naturally contain paragraphs. So if you learn how to write an effective paragraph, all you need to do is to duplicate these paragraphs using the same skill, all right? And then you will write exceedingly well when you understand the principle of paragraphing, when you understand the essential ingredients that make up a good paragraph. Then you'll be able to write the body of your content, the body of your book, your article, or whatever you are writing. You will enrich the body of this write-up. And when you are through with the body, then you write the conclusion. The conclusion is all about summarizing, it's all about re-emphasizing, it's all about leaving the last impression on the minds of your readers. It's all about, putting everything together, right? Passing the last message, conveying the last message, and reiterating the central message you have already conveyed in the body of your write-up. Now, step 4, we have discussed writing your draft. Very, very important step in the writing process. And now we are going to the last step, which is step 5, rewriting and revising. Very, very critical stage, because here you are at the verge of coming up with your brainchild. You are at the verge of coming out with your new book to be published, your article to be published, your essay to be submitted, whatever it is. This is the stage at which you produce your final product. Whether it is an essay, a book, an article, a report, a speech, whatever it is, a blog post, this is the stage at which you produce the final product. So refining removes impurities and brings out the gold in its richness. Well, if you are conversant with gold, the process of bringing out the gold, I learned that gold, when it is actually extracted from the bowels of the earth, is not as fine as it is when you buy it in the market. It contains some depths, all right? It's not as good looking as when it is actually refined. So gold is subjected to the refining process that removes the impurities, that removes the ugly part of it, and brings out the richness of gold in its golden color and splendor. All right. Now, it is at this rewriting and revising stage that you have to deal with sentence restructuring. You know, you will find some sentences that were not well formed, or you had some grammatical deformities, if we can use that expression. Then you restructure this particular the sentences. You know, you do some surgical operation and restructure the sentences. Then, of course, this is the stage at which you correct errors in terms of grammar, spelling, punctuation, and then your final product will come out. Now, refining removes impurities, as we have already said. All right, so this is the stage at which you refine your writing. This is the editing stage, this is the rewriting stage, this is the revising stage. At this stage too, it is important for you to actually give your writing a breathing space. You know, after your first draft, it is important you give it a break if you really want to enrich it and come out with the best final product. You need to give it some time. You know, take a walk, take a break, right? Sleep, wake up, all right? Give it some time, let it breathe, and then you come back to your draft. And as you come back to your draft, you are coming back with fresh ideas. And as you take a second look at this draft, you will begin to see things you never saw before. Then you will begin to have some ideas that you never had before. And then you will be able also to have some new perspectives which will enrich your final products. And when you really approach your writing in this professional manner, of course, you will write something that will not only grab the attention of your target audience, but hold their attention and compel them to read to the last letter. And that is the kind of writing process that you need to learn. Of course, I have uploaded videos discussing the writing process from different perspectives, from different angles. But the most important thing is for you to really learn the tenets, learn the tricks and the tips, and imbibe them and personalize them and begin to actually use them and maximize them so that you will improve your writing skills. This is where we are going to draw the curtain in today's video. I want to believe that you have gained quite a lot from today's video, and if you really have, kindly subscribe to this channel if you have not, and click on the bell icon so that you will receive notifications when the next video goes live on this channel. Each time a new video is uploaded, you will be alerted and you won't miss anything at all. I want you to really know that on this channel we discuss writing, right? Content writing, content creation, content marketing, digital marketing, right? We discuss the writing process. We also teach language. We teach English grammar here. We teach various aspects of language proficiency, because I believe strongly that there's a relationship, very close relationship between language and content creation. Because every content that you want to create, whatever it is, the foundation is language. Language is the vehicle that takes you to your destination in content creation. I can't imagine any content anyone can ever create that doesn't use language. So you can see the relationship between language and content creation. So this is the right channel where you will get the right quality of video lectures that will help you to be knowledgeable about the writing process. And if you are interested in videos like this, please kindly subscribe to this video. I want to thank you for being part of today's video. If you have really enjoyed today's episode, like the video and share the video with your friends and give us thumbs up, by clicking the like button there below. You can also leave your comments and kudos and commendations, and if you have any questions or any suggestions, you leave them on the comment section. These things are always highly appreciated. I want to thank you once again. See you in the next video, and bye bye.